blessed month of Dhul-Qa'dah. It is a blessed month as it is the month preceding the month of Hajj, Dhul-Hijjah. There are 4 sacred months in Islam. In the Islamic calendar, there are 12 months according to the Islamic calendar. We go by the lunar months, by the moon, alhamdulillah, by the sighting of the moon. And mashallah, looking at the crescent, alhamdulillah. And our Islamic calendar starts with the Hijrah, which is a blessed moment in our history of Islam and history in general, which is the blessed migration of our blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions from Makkah al-Mukarramah to Medina al-Munawwara. So our Islamic calendar starts with the Hijrah. That's why it's known as the Hijri calendar. And our Islamic months are 12, and 4 of these months are sacred months. They are Ashhurul-Hurum. And these sacred months are Muharram, Dhul-Qa'dah, Dhul-Hijjah, and Rajab. These are the sacred months, Ashhurul-Hurum, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran. Minha arba'atul hurum. That from the 12 months that we have, minha, from them, arba'atun, 4 of them are sacred. And they were sacred even before the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even in the times of ignorance, people would look at these months as sacred months. They would not have war and fight in these months. 3 of these months come consecutively, which are Dhul-Qa'dah, Dhul-Hijjah, and Muharram. And one of these comes unique and alone, that is Rajab. That is the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are in a sacred month. And a sacred month has been compared to by the scholars and the ulama as a sacred place. So, for example, when we are in the Haram al-Sharif in Makkah al-Mukarramah or Medina al-Munawwara or even Bayt al-Maqdis, which is also one of our holy sites in Jerusalem and Palestine, then we are in a sacred place. So a sacred month is like a sacred place. So just as in a sacred place, we do not fool around. We try our best to have the most adab. We try our best to behave the best, to do as many good acts as we can to please Allah and His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Likewise, in a sacred month, we do the same. And as in a sacred place, when we try our best not to commit anything haram or to stay away from sins and to keep our heart clean, to keep our tongues clean, to keep our eyes clean, to keep our ears clean, to keep our outward organs and our inside souls clean, likewise in a sacred month, we try our best to keep these things clean. And indeed, the Prophet ﷺ has taught us and has given us the glad tidings and the warning, because He is Al-Bashir sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He is the one who gives glad tidings of paradise and of reward. And He is Al-Nadir sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He is also the one who gives us warning of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hellfire and the bad deeds that we should not be doing. And the Prophet ﷺ said that indeed in the sacred months, any good action that you do is multiplied. Any hasanat that you do, we already know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that if you do one good deed, then you're getting at least 10 more rewards. At least. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can multiply that to 700 or to even more than that. As much as He wants, based on your intention, based on His karam and generosity. Alhamdulillah. And if you do one bad deed, then it's only worth one bad deed. This is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna rahmati taghlibu ghadabi. That indeed, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the creation, when He made the creation, Jalla Jalalu, and He wrote with a book, He caused it to be written down in the book which is with Him in the highest heaven. There is a book which is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the highest heaven. And this is known as Lawh al-Mahfuz. This is the tablet, the preserved tablet. And in that book is written everything that is going to happen from beginning of time that happened until the end of time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of everything. And in that book, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that creation, He caused to be written down in that book this statement, Inna rahmati taghlibu ghadabi. That indeed my rahmah prevails over my wrath. Indeed my rahmah prevails over my ghadab, prevails over my anger. So the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always more than His anger. It always outweighs and prevails over it. It's always ghalib over His anger. This is why He is saying subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you do one good deed, then I'm giving you at least 10, or I can multiply as much as I want. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you do one bad deed, then you only get 1 sin. But in the sacred months, if you do more good deeds, then the good deeds are rewarded even more. They're multiplied even more. The reward for them is multiplied manifold, more than they would be in other months. And likewise, if we do a sin that it is more serious, it is more grave, than it would be as in other months. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to increase in good acts and amal salih. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the protection and the hifadha and salama from any sins and from any disobedience, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. And alhamdulillah, this is a month which is preceding the month of Hajj. Many of us, or some of us here, and many of us across the globe, across the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are preparing for this blessed journey of visiting the Kaaba al-Sharifah, the sacred precincts and the sacred sanctuary in Makkah al-Mukarramah, and visiting the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in al-Madinah al-Munawwar. Alhamdulillah, this is a blessing. And the least we can do, if we know that anyone is going on this journey, we can ask them, that do you need anything? Can we be of any service to you? Inshallah, because if we do this sincerely, without any other motives, without any worldly motives, we ask our brothers or sisters to help them, and to ask them if they are in need of anything. And if you assist them, and subhanallah, if they make even one dua for you, or if they even remember you in those blessed places, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can rectify all your affairs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can accept your du'as. One du'a for them, if they give one salam of yours to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam returns that salam to you by name, that subhanallah, what more blessing can you want? What better blessing can you want? Alhamdulillah. So ask people inshallah, if they need any help, if you know that they're going for Hajj, and to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is there anything we can do? And subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous that inshallah He will include you and give you a portion of that Hajj and Umrah without reducing the portion of their Hajj. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's treasures are vast and all-encompassing and never-ending. So subhanallah, He's the King of all kings, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, Malikul Mulk, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He can definitely grant you that. So alhamdulillah, that's the least we can do. We can make dua for them that inshallah, Allah makes their journey easy and Allah accepts their Hajj and makes it Hajj Mabrur. Hajj Mabrur, an accepted pilgrimage which is free from any defects or any vices. That the Prophet ﷺ said that the reward for an accepted pilgrimage, a Hajj Mabrur, is nothing but Jannah. Subhanallah, the Prophet ﷺ said that. And subhanallah, this is a great opportunity for us to do khidmah. And for those people who are going for Hajj and visiting Rasulullah ﷺ, we humbly request them to make dua for us, and make dua for the ummah, make dua for this masjid, make dua for all those who are suffering from the ummah, and please pass on and convey our salams to the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the companions and Ahlul Bayt and all those blessed places that you visit. If you get the opportunity, remember us, alhamdulillah, in your du'as. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. So the main idea here, and the main point here is lillah, which means for the sake of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us, and is commanding us to complete and to perform the Hajj and the Umrah lillah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a big message for us, it's a big lesson for us, that when we make the Hajj and the Umrah, that we do it sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do it for the love of Allah and His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, performing the fard which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made obligatory upon those of us who can afford it, and those of us who can make the journey and have the good health to do so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to do it for His sake, solely and sincerely for His sake. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam warned us, and this is the ilm and the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon the blessed Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he saw that the signs at the end of times were made visible to him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and they were unveiled to him. And he said that there will come a time when people will make Hajj and Umrah for vocational purposes. There will come a time where people will make Hajj and Umrah for business purposes. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said this in a hadith. You can see the inside of Rasulullah. And people say that the Prophet did not have ilm of it. The Prophet ﷺ had told us what is going to happen in the future, not only in this world, but on Qiyamah and Hashr and everything, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unveiled all these things to His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the meanings of a prophet is the one who gives nubuwah. The meaning of nubuwah is prophethood. What does the prophet do? He prophesizes. He tells you what is going to happen in the future. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this, by definition, a prophet is one who gives knowledge of the unseen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has unveiled that knowledge to him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. and he gives that knowledge. This is why Imam Ahmad Rada Khan, Ala Hazrat Rahimahullah, he mentions the definition of a Nabi is Ghaib ki khabrein batane wala, right? In Urdu we say Ghaib ki khabrein batane wala, Ghaib ki khabrein inkishaf karne wala. That means the person who unveils and tells us about the knowledge of the unseen, that he has received from his Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no doubt about this. Alhamdulillah. The Prophet ﷺ said there will be people who will make Hajj and Umrah for a vacation. They will say, okay, we have nothing to do, let's go to Makkah and Medina, let's go to the hotels, spend luxury time, enjoy our time, eat all these meals, 5-star meals. This is vacation. This is the Prophet ﷺ. This is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. This is not what Rasulullah ﷺ wants from us. وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. Perform the Hajj and complete the Umrah and Hajj for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the love of Allah and His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To follow the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said there are people who will come, they will perform Hajj and Umrah for business purposes. They will go and they will trade and they'll go in the shops, they'll buy things, they'll come to their home countries and they'll sell it, they'll make profit. Intention is very important, my brothers and sisters. Intention is very important, my brothers and sisters. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at our hearts, He does not look at our outward. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the gaze of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala falls upon the hearts. It's not upon the outward appearances. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in our hearts and we make the intention that, oh Allah, we want to perform this Hajj, we want to perform this Umrah, we want to perform this Ziyarah of Rasulullah ﷺ for your sake, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, for your pleasure, so that we can see you and witness you on Yawm al-Qiyamah and you are pleased with us, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so generous that He will already give you the reward, inshallah. Because He knows what's in your heart. And then when you come, you are the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are the guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And what better host can you have than Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, and the most beloved to Allah, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And they're the best of hosts, that they will never let you go empty-handed. They will never let you go empty in any way. They will never let you go in a wretched state. You will come and you will go full of blessings and mercy and forgiveness, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So this is a blessing that we perform, and this is a command of Allah that we perform the Hajj and Umrah for the sake of Allah. And alhamdulillah, I want to clarify that there is a misconception out there. Unfortunately, there's a misconception out there that there are some people saying in the Ummah that, okay, you perform the Hajj and Umrah, you do not have to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to clarify that this is totally wrong, and this is not from the practice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the practice of the Sahaba, from the practice of the Ahlul Bayt radiallahu anhum, from the practice of the Tabi'in, or the Tabi'in, or from the Awliya Allah and Salihin and the Ulama who are on the truth. You find from all of their seerah and their biographies that they would visit the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith, "Man hajja wa lam yazurni faqad jafani." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one who performs the pilgrimage, one who performs the Hajj and does not visit me has insulted me. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can we expect our Hajj and Umrah to be accepted and to be complete if we have insulted Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If we have done injustice to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If we have acted unfairly with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? This is a harsh. The words that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has used are very scary for us, because if we ever insult or do anything to treat the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a way that is not befitting of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then our iman is at stake. Then our iman, our faith is in danger. Then what kind of faith do we have? And what is our hajj? What are our actions? What are our salat and siyam? Nothing. Because all these we have received via the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed these ayat and these blessings and these signs to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And He opened the doors to all these blessings for us. He opened the doors sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Hajj. He opened the doors to Umrah. He opened the doors for Ziyarah. He opened the doors to Salah. He opened the doors to Siyam. He opened the doors to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He opened the doors to the Asma Allah. We never knew who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. How do we know that Allah is Al-Ghafur, is Al-Rahim, is Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, Al-Salam? Who taught us these names? Do you think that they just came from the sky to us? They were taught to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Wasitatul Udhma. He is the greatest means between Allah and His creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to come to the doorstep of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever makes the pilgrimage and does not visit me, وَلَمْ يَزُرْنِي فَقَدْ جَفَانِي, he has insulted me, he has treated me unfairly, he has treated me unjustly. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from such a belief that some of us, they go for Hajj, they go for Umrah, and they do not find it necessary to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What kind of love is this? What kind of, how can you even, we cannot even repay the Prophet ﷺ for what he has given us, and then you have the right to say that you don't want to visit Rasulullah? Actually, this is your wretchedness, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has deprived such people from visiting Rasulullah. If you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given them tawfiq to visit Rasulullah. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants khair for you, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants goodness for you, He will make the arrangements for you to visit His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, one who visits me, then my shafa'ah is wajib upon him. One who visits me, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in Medina al-Munawwar, in my Rawda al-Sharifa, and visits me, then the Prophet ﷺ said, my intercession has been made obligatory for that person. My shafa'ah is wajib for that person. So for those of us who have already visited, alhamdulillah, the more shukr we give, the more hamd we give of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is less, because we have been given a ticket of shafa'ah of Rasulullah on that day, where there will be no, all the prophets will say, no, go to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And no one will be able to help you, and the only one that will be able to help you is the Habib of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose intercession, shafa'ah will be accepted. And he is shafi' wal mushaffa', he is the one who will intercede sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is the one whose intercession is accepted, as we read in the Hadith Sharif. And you have that shafa'ah. If you visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have that stamp sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What more do you want? And look at the lives of the Sahaba and the companions, how they would visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, al-Mu'mineen, when she would visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after his physical passing from this world, as I mentioned last week, then alhamdulillah, even the prophets, they experience death, they experience this transition from this world to the next. But it's only a momentary transition. It's to establish that only one being does not die or does not experience death, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To establish tawheed in the hearts of the creation, that La ilaha illallah, there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is the one without end, without any beginning, and He is the one, He does not experience any death. He is Al-Hayy, He is the ever-living. And all the other creation, they have to experience death, they have to experience, but there are levels of this. And the prophets, when there is just a momentary transition, they receive that, the ruh separates from the body, and then after, when they are entering their blessed states in the Rawda Sharifa where they are buried, then the ruh comes back. And the Prophet ﷺ, we see from this, from the hadith that I recited last week, that the Prophet ﷺ said, the insects cannot touch the bodies of the Anbiya and Mursaleen, for indeed the Anbiya and Mursaleen, the prophets and the messengers, are alive in their graves and they are being given rizq, provision, and they perform salah. This is when the Prophet ﷺ went on the journey of Isra and Mi'raj. He passed the blessed grave of who? Sayyidina Nabiullah Musa alayhi salam. And what did he see? He didn't see Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam was just laying there. He saw Sayyidina Nabiullah Musa alayhi salam was performing salah in his grave. Was performing salah in a resting place. If this is the hal of Sayyidina Nabiullah Musa alayhi salam, I'm asking you, dear brothers and sisters, what do you think is the blessed state of Sayyidul Anbiya wal Mursaleen, who is the leader of all the Anbiya wal Mursaleen, Sayyidina Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? So when we visit the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we're not visiting someone who has passed away, we are visiting someone who is hayy, who is living and who is hadir and who knows who is coming to visit him. The Prophet ﷺ knows each and every one of his ummah. And there's a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ is presented and he is shown our actions from the ummah that has come until Yawm al-Qiyamah by name. If you do something good, if any of the ummati, any of the members of the community of Rasulullah, any of the Muslim ummah, male or female, if they do something good, this is presented to the Prophet ﷺ. Hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ sees that, and when he sees that you've done something good, he is happy ﷺ. He expresses happiness and he says Alhamdulillah. He praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, so and so of my ummah, so and so of my ummati, subhanallah, has done something good. He has pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She has pleased Allah. And by pleasing Allah, of course I am pleased. If my Lord is pleased, the Prophet ﷺ is pleased. Alhamdulillah. And then, if we do something wrong, if we sin, then that is presented to the Prophet ﷺ, and look at your blessed Prophet ﷺ. Harisun alaykum bil mu'minina ra'ufur rahim. He is so concerned for us, he is so concerned for you and I, for the believers, he is so merciful and so kind. The hadith, look at the hadith, reflect upon this, my dear brothers and sisters. Subhanallah, if we do something wrong, if we are sinning, that sin is presented, it is presented to the Prophet ﷺ in his blessed resting place in the barzakh, and the Prophet ﷺ is shown that so and so from your ummah, Ya Rasulullah, has done this sin, has done this wrong. And what does the Prophet ﷺ do? He asks forgiveness for you. He does istighfar for that person. And then you have the audacity to say you do not want to visit Rasulullah. There are some people in the ummah who say this. They do your hajj, you do your umrah, don't visit the Prophet ﷺ. You don't have to do it. Astaghfirullah. What kind of belief is this? This is not the belief of the Salaf. The Salaf, as I explained, those people who are the predecessors, the Sahaba, the Ahlullah, the Ahlul Bayt, the Tabi'in, Tabi'in, the Awliya Allah, the Ulama, the Salihin. None of them said anything like this. They said that you visit, you do the hajj, you do the umrah, and actually they will say that the ziyarah is even afdal than that hajj and umrah. If you look at the kalam, and you look at what the Sufi and the awliya say, and the people who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they say you cannot even compare visiting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to making hajj or umrah. You cannot even compare, they're not even on the same level. They say that when we go for hajj, our main intention is to visit Rasulullah. I'm not saying this out of my pocket, this is what the Salih, the people who are close to Allah, they have ranks before Allah. For example, Shaykh Bayazid Bustami, Shaykh Maulana Abdul Rahman Jami. These people are lovers of the Prophet ﷺ, or Shah of Rasulullah. They say when we make hajj, our main intention is not hajj or umrah, it's to visit Rasulullah. Hajj is just an excuse for us. This is the language of the lovers. People who love, they understand this. Right? Why? Why are they saying this? Because we received hajj from who? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We received umrah from who? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The teachings that we received, if the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not open these doors for us, then all these doors for us would be closed. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His infinite mercy, sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as a mercy for the worlds and as the opener to these doors. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah, we are blessed to be from the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our a'mal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encompass us in His mercy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill our hearts with His love, the love of His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the love of the Ahlul Bayt, the Sahaba, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, the awliya Allah, the Salihin. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rectify our hearts and the ummah upon this love, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. The only thing that can unite this ummah is the love. And if we do not have this love, then we can never be united. Alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant shifa and afiyah to all those people who are sick. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the suffering from the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise the darajat of those who have passed away from the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them, encompass them in His mercy, and make their graves a garden from the gardens of paradise, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Whatever hajat that we have, whatever noble intentions that we have, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the barakah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, fulfill them, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. For those who are present and for those who are not able to make it, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfill the construction of this masjid, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله.